Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Light Sports Ramble. I am Troy Otradovic in Chile, Pennsylvania, joined with the in the very good mood, Evan Witallison today. So I had to break it to everyone, Evan. You told me you're in a good mood, so I had to give you the props. So why are you in a good mood today, Evan?
The students had a couple of them had their moments today, but overall, my students didn't irritate me today, which they've been very irritating lately.
Well, I'm sure
that was a huge help. So,
well, I am sure the listeners are very happy that you're in a good mood today. So Wednesday night,
happy when I call in.
Yeah, you know what? I'd almost have to call you a little bit giddy today. A little giddy, a little skip in your step. It's nice to hear. I can tell even in your voice that you're in the bed.
Do the ramble with you. Of course, I'm a little giddy.
Oh, geez. Here we better change the subject already. So it is Wednesday, which is our traditional Twitter talk. On the screen that people will see when on YouTube today, all of our contact information. And so just to let people know, contact us by Twitter, by Facebook. We're on YourDaily'sCowboysFootballFix.com. That is a website that is wonderful that we get to contribute to. Of course, we're on Blog Talk Radio. That's how we're coming live to you today. And, of course, our YouTube channel where you can get every episode of the Light Sports Ramble all the way to the beginning, all the way back to the first original ramble that I did in a parking lot. And so with that said, Evan, today is Twitter Talk. We have a couple of good topics. I know one is talking about Badger draft prospects and who would we like to see the Packers get. And the way I think we can do this today is just look at the prospects that have the possibility to being drafted, talk about them a little bit. I know that you've covered the Badgers, so that'll be some good insight. Loyal listener Ben threw out a very good topic. And as you know, we're nearing the end of football, getting into spring training. We can talk a little bit about Major League Baseball. His topic for us today, Evan, and you and I discussed a little bit on the pre-show about how we feel about it, but we can let the listeners in on it, is our opinion on Pete Rose being in the Hall of Fame. And so we'll touch base on that a little bit. And when we move forward from that, we can maybe throw out another topic, time permitting. But with that said, Evan, let's get into, right away, Wisconsin Badger football. And the question is, who would you and I like to see in a Packers uniform that is currently on the Wisconsin Badgers? So I'm going to turn it over to you immediately, and we'll talk about that.
Well, just I saw on Twitter for another station threw out the question, and they threw out like three names. Who would you want to see on Wisconsin? It kind of got my gears turning a little bit thinking about it. And as you said, I cover Wisconsin for Sports Radio 1250 here in Milwaukee area, and I was at all the Wisconsin home games. And it got me thinking, I'm looking over the different Badger players that are eligible for the draft on who would I want. One guy who, most people think he's undersized. They don't think he's going to be that good at the next level. But one guy is Chris Borland. He's listed on CBS Sports' rankings as 6', 245, but he's more like 5'11", 245. He is, he is strong. He is physical. He's got great instincts for the football. And he's tough. He's something that Brad Jones and A.J. Hawk haven't been. He's going to get to the ball carrier, put a hit on the ball carrier. At the majority of the Badger games I was at, on every tackle, or not every tackle, majority of the tackles, you heard Chris Borland, Chris Borland for the tackle, or Chris Borland in on the tackle. That's all you ever heard. And I just think he would, even though he's from Ohio, he's a huge Packer fan, and I just think he would be a great addition to the Packers. The other one I would look at would be Jared Abadaras, wide receiver. He's okay size, 6'1", I think 188. but he's a good special teams player. He's sure-handed. At Wisconsin, he was just a big playmaker. He put up some decent stats at Wisconsin, and I just think he's one that would look really good wearing the green and gold. He'd be a nice lock guy to develop alongside Randall Cobb, have two dangerous guys coming out of the slot. You know, he's bigger than Wes Welker and Amendola for the Patriots, but I think he's very similar to Welker and Amendola. So those are two that I would love to see in a Packer uniform. Anyone that stands out to you?
Well, you know, we got to share with the fans on our pre-show. We were going over this. You said Chris Borland. I used a word I can't repeat on Blog Talk Radio. You thought I got mad at you, but it falls right into
it sounded like you did. I was like, what?
Well, it's fallen into the realm. I mean, 90% of the time we agree, and it's weird that, you know, we throw this out, the questions out, we get on the phone, and it's the same two players. You know, I think Chris Borland would bring an added energy to that linebacking core. Now, he's projected in the third round, and I don't say the Packers reach to go out and say we have to target this guy. But if he is available at the bottom of the third round when we're picking, I don't think that's a bad pick in the third round. I don't know if he'll make it to
not at all.
I don't think he'll make it to the fourth round. If he's there in the fourth round, they should definitely snatch him up in the fourth round. But I don't know if he makes it to the fourth round. Again, you never know with the draft. You never know how these things are going to fall into place. That is just a projection. You know, we haven't had the pro days. We haven't had the NFL scouting combine. He could go out there and do really, really well. He could go out there and do really, really bad. But either way, just from being a Badger fan and watching Borland play, I think he brings the intangibles to that position. Now, I've always said it as a coach. You can't coach size and you can't coach the vitals and the speed. And so, you know, maybe he's a little bit undersized. But haven't we been playing with an undersized inside linebacker for years now? And if Chris Borland can pick the scheme up and he can bring the motor to the field, I don't have a problem with a third or fourth round draft pick on this gentleman to see what he can do. Because he has the football intelligence to be able to play. And that's all I'll say with Chris Borland. Now, Aberderis?
If I can go through quick, CBS Sports, the website you directed me to, what they say about him, heady, passionate player, consistently diagnosed action correctly, attacking, seems to make plays near the line of scrimmage and showing better than advertised speed and change of direction while dropping into coverage. He is a no-nonsense linebacker showing impressive pop and determination to get to the ball. Borland is disciplined in space and is rarely fooled, showing good body positioning and timing and coverage. The thing that stands out to me is no-nonsense linebacker showing impressive pop and determination to get to the ball. Something that I think A.J. Hawk and Brad Jones lack a little bit, and I think that's something that would be great to bring to the Packers. So,
yeah, I agree. I am on board 100% with you right there, bud. The other guy, Aberderis, I would love to see him in a Packer uniform. And again, he's projected in that third round area. But I'm with you, our receiving core, you know, we talked about it yesterday. James Jones is probably gone. Haven't seen enough of Miles White. And so that leaves us with, you know, a core there of Boykin, Cobb, Nelson. And so to be able to bring a player like this in, to learn the system, to be able to come in, learn with a very good quarterback and in a good offensive system, I think he's a great fit. Now, the question is, will he be available in that round, in that third, fourth round where the Packers are picking? And again, I don't think you jump up into the second round to take him. But if he's available in that third or fourth round, I mean, again, this is a player that I wouldn't have a problem with the Packers taking. Not only is he a Badger, he's a good fit for that offense. And from what I've seen, pretty good hands and a good route runner. I mean, everybody's route running can get better, but I believe that he could fit in that system very well. So, we both agree on those. Let's now talk a little bit, Evan, and you and I mentioned this a little bit as we were talking on the pre-show. When the draft day is over and all the names have been picked, teams then go out and they sign their street free agents, their undrafted players. And there's a long list of Badgers that are out there that could get signed. And I know you and I were talking about two, but I'm going to let you go first. Is there anybody on this list that you think would be very good developmental players for the Packers to go right in their backyard and pick them from the University of Wisconsin and have them come to training camp?
Well, there's a couple that I like. One being Bo Allen. He's listed as, there's really no evaluation on him based off the CBSSports.com website that you had directed me to. But he goes about 6'3", 333, and I don't know if he'll make it to a street free agent after he tests out at the combine, but he is somebody that you would love to have in your locker room. He brings it. He's a hard worker. He's really, really solid on the nose. He takes up blocks, and he's very, very passionate. And between him and Borland, those are the two people that post-game I just love talking to in the locker room because he's also hilarious. And, he'll be, in my opinion, he'd be a defensive version of Josh Sitton, personality-wise. I think he would be a great addition. Ryan Gorey, who's a guard for Wisconsin, projected to go in the 7th round. He's one that I think would be a good in a Packer uniform. He's 6'5", 325, big-sized. He can play center. He can play guard. He can play tackle. He's exactly what the Packers look for in a lineman. They want a guy that can be a jack of all trades. And I don't think he'll be ever be a full-time starter in the league, but I think he could be a nice guy that has to come in on the bench if somebody gets hurt or if something like that happens. I think he could be a nice guy coming in off the bench. So those are two for me.
So you mean that?
And you brought up an interesting name.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go to Groy. So you mean he could come in and take the place of Marshall Newhouse?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I'm saying that right now. He could come in and take the place of Marshall Newhouse. Because I hope Marshall Newhouse is not back. You know how I feel about him. And so...
He is a free agent. So.
And I'm just leaving it at that. Unfortunately, and again, too, the combine hasn't happened. The pro days haven't happened. Like you said, I love Bo Allen. I like, and you know my philosophy on football. I'm a football guy. I like football players. I like guys that are going to bring it on every play, that are just football players. Because if you're a football player, you're going to go out and you're going to give 100% on every play. And that's what Bo Allen does. And while you were talking, I looked up the stats for Raji. And you're getting the exact same size in Bo Allen that B.J. Raji brings to the table. At least what he's listed as. And so if you go by listed height and weight to listed height and weight, you're getting exactly the same thing. And I think with Allen, you're going to get a young guy that has a motor that wants to play. Now, I'm not comparing him by any means talent level to B.J. Raji at this point. I'm just giving you the vitals. But I love the guy. And I think he deserves a chance. And like you, I was surprised when I looked at this prospect list that Bo Allen wasn't projected to go anywhere. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be one of the first day picks, but I think this guy is going on the second day. I don't think he's going to be a free agent. It would be great if he was, and the Packers could snatch him up. But you're absolutely right. I brought up another name, and I just like the guy's size. It's Ethan Hemmer, defensive end, listed at 6'6", 285. And I know you've covered the Badgers a little bit, so give me a little background on Ethan Hemmer? I'd love to see that size in a Packer uniform.
Well, first thing about him is he's nothing over the top special. He's got good size, and he's another one that's got a good motor. He's one that's going to bring it. He isn't one that's going to be a starter at the next level, but he is one that when he does get the opportunity to go into the game, he is going to give his all. He is going to fight. He is going to not make mistakes. So he'll be a nice developmental guy to add the depth on the defensive line when they have to rotate guys in and out. Like I said, he's not going to be a playmaker. He's not going to be anything special, but he's one that's going to give it his all. So that's one of the things I like about him.
Well, and with the injuries that occur, I mean, look at the way the Packers' injuries have been over the past couple of years, and it's been a topic of conversation. And you and I may even talk about this as we move closer to the draft. What is going on? I know we talked about it early in the season. What is going on with all the hamstring injuries? What is going on with all the injuries? I mean, we cannot stop the Aaron Rodgers injury. We cannot stop the Randall Cobb injury. Those are different type injuries. The Jermichael Finley injury. But you and I both know that you look on that defense and you look at the little, and I call them ticky-tack injuries, the growings, the hamstrings, things of that nature. There was a ton of them this year. And so to be able to bring somebody in that maybe will just be a practice player, maybe get a shot in spot duty every once in a while, there's nothing wrong with getting players like that. You need some of those also on the roster. So, again, I'm talking about that street free agent pickup after the draft. I think Hemmer, and like I said, I'm not sure if Allen will be there, but if he is, I'd love to see those two become Green Bay Packers, come OTAs and come training camp. Yeah. So, but anything...
Just to throw another name out there, I didn't mention before, but just throw another name out there. Just, if Starks does leave and if Kuhn does leave, a nice replacement guy, and I think he could step in and do even better than Franklin, would be James White. He's 5'9", 206, but he is a heck of a blocker. He is very good in blitz pickup, and from what I have read on Twitter following, Senior Bowl, that's one thing that they're raving on him about is his blocking ability in the backfield. He's great at blitz pickup, and he's also pretty quick. He's a quick guy, so he's one guy that if the end of day 3 and he's still on the board, 6th, 7th round, I would definitely pick him up.
Do you think he's going to fall to around 6 or 7? I mean, honest opinion. I don't think he falls to 6 or 7.
I would not be surprised. They rank him as 5th, but I would not be surprised because Badger running backs don't have a strong history of, being very successful at the next level.
They have him ranked as...
So will he...
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I'm saying, will he... Maybe. Will he be gone by then? Maybe. But it wouldn't surprise me if he's around in the 6th or 7th round. I wouldn't be super shocked, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I just don't think he's going to fall that far. And I think it's for what you're saying. Think about the things that we've talked about with our running backs and what was important to having running backs in the Packers system is being able to pick up the blitz package. It's being able to block. Something James White can do. They have him ranked as the 13th overall running back. But if you take those running backs, and I know nobody's going to go out and take him in the 2nd round because of his blocking ability. And that's not why you draft a running back. But when you look at it and you get into those 5th, 6th, 7th rounds, you're looking for a specific skill set of player at that point. You're not necessarily looking to fill a certain void. I mean, you could be. But, I mean, you're looking for that in the upper rounds. But when you get back there, you're looking for players that are now going to fit into your system, that could be a project, that have a specific skill set that you're looking for, that you really like. And so when I see the projection of 5th round, I kind of agree with it. I think he's going to go in the 5th round because of his blocking ability. But you're absolutely right. I mean, Monty Ball is still, an incomplete as far as evaluation of success in the NFL with Badger running backs, just having 1 year under his belt. But when we look at all of the other Wisconsin greats that came out, they didn't really prosper into that all-pro, consistent, year-in and year-out producer. So, yeah, there's probably a little bit of leery there when you're looking at a Wisconsin running back because they use them an awful lot during their time in Wisconsin. So, any last words on Wisconsin Badger football before we move on to our Pete Rose subject, bud?
No, that'll be about it.
So it leaves us just under 9 minutes, and again, a loyal listener, Ben, had given us a topic today, and it's, what are our thoughts on Pete Rose being in the Hall of Fame? Not to rain on the parade, but we both agree on this, just as we look at the time constraints, so we get enough time to both give our opinion. We both agree, so when you give your thought on this, I am on board with you, and I will just kind of chime in with some of my opinion, but I'm going to let you lead off on this and ask the question as Ben did. What is your opinion, Evan, on Pete Rose being in the Hall of Fame?
With Pete Rose, I get what he did was wrong. He was betting on baseball while managing the Cincinnati Reds and possibly betting while being a player. I know for sure he betted while a manager, but I can't recall for sure off the top of my head if it was as a player as well. And I get that he had to be punished. He deserved a punishment. He got banned for life. Now, for me, I think that's a little harsh. I think that, a banishment for an amount of time was the right thing. But I think it's time to not really even reinstate him into baseball. But I think you need to allow him to come back for the Hall of Fame. Reinstate him under the under the only thing he can be reinstated for is to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He is one of the all-time great players in baseball history. The greatest hitter, the career hit leader. He's one of the best hitters baseball has ever had. Charlie Hustle, whatever they called him. He's known for running over the catcher in the All-Star. He played with the passion, played with the determination, and he played the game hard, and he played the game the right way. You have guys like, granted, they've never officially tested positive, but you have guys like Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Mark McGwire, up for consideration for the Hall of Fame. And what they did was take substances to make them better players. And as far as I can remember, Pete Rose has never been linked to any illegal drugs. Now, if you're going to allow people to be in the Hall of Fame who or be up for voting into the Hall of Fame for drug use, then why can't you let a guy be in the Hall of Fame for just betting on the game of baseball? He served his time. It should be time for him to be where he belongs in the Hall of Fame. He needs to be in there, and he should get in before he dies, and he should be able to, speak at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. So that's just my 2 cents on it.
Well, I like your 2 cents. And if you got 2 cents, you can send them my way. I need all the sense I can get, bud.
You got plenty of sense.
Come on now. We do a sports talk radio show for free. I mean that's the bottom line. So maybe we should put our plug in now and say if anybody wants to pick up Evan and I and give us an opportunity on the air, we'll gladly take it. So there, I had to put our plug in, Evan. But to get to the Pete Rose, I agree with you. I understand. I understand. The bylaws and all of the reasoning and the ban, and it goes back to baseball history and the Black Sox and all of the whole history of baseball. But I think you're right. We're not putting, and you had said this in the pre-show, we're not putting Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame for being a coach. There's no way he's making the Hall of Fame as a coach. He's going into the Hall of Fame, and the Hall of Fame is missing a key part of history with not having Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. I wouldn't even care if you put him in the Hall of Fame and say that he was banned from baseball because of betting on games. Let people know that. He's come out and talked about it. He's written a book about it. He's not in denial anymore about what he did. Like you said, he has paid his dues. The man deserves to be in the Hall of Fame for his accomplishments on the baseball field. And honestly, I don't remember the last time that wagering money led to a better performance in the batter's box. Not like steroids, not like PEDs can enhance a hitter's ability. How did betting on baseball, if he did as a player, increase his ability to hit the ball and to run around the bases? It didn't do anything for his natural baseball ability. And that's where I come from. I'm with you on this 100%. And now with Mr. Seelig on his way out, and with the whole PED fiasco in his basket, as I call it, maybe a new commissioner will come in and allow Pete Rose and lift the ban and allow him to be on the ballot. Because he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And I know why Bud didn't do it. Bud is too proud. Bud is too proud to lift the ban and say, yes, Mr. Rose, you can come back in. Because for Bud Selig, that will show that he has a weakness in going against the policy. Well, you know what? It's time to swallow the pride, everyone. Major League Baseball, and I can't speak for anyone else except for you and me. We believe he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I know some of my friends that think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame based on his accomplishments. So my argument is, based on accomplishments, that betting did not influence the way that he hit the ball and collected all those hits. That's what I have to say on that. Anything else to add about Pete Rose, Bud?
Nope, I think you nailed it right on the head on that. He should be in. He served his punishment, and he should be in. It's time to move on. And I know part of Bud Selig's argument, I guess should add on to this, is when I believe it was Faye Vincent. I think he had passed away, and his last wish was, Pete Rose to be banned, to never make the Hall of Fame.
90
and I know
seconds.
The league just mostly has been following Faye Vincent's wish. So, but you know what? Enough time's passed. Let him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I agree. So, we had a great Twitter talk today, Evan. We talked about some Badger players that we think would look good in green and gold next year. Talked about some of the street free agents that the Packers could look at when the draft is over. And then we talked about Pete Rose, and we just finished up with that. Just under a minute to go. It's a great Twitter talk. As always, I enjoy doing the show with you. I'm going to let you end the show, Bud. Anything for our listeners as we let them go tonight? Tomorrow is Thursday. We're going to do some Packer grading tomorrow.
Well, just a reminder is, I'm a Team Beats Body coach. They've given you things like P90X3, Insanity, P90X, Shakeology, and a whole bunch of other supplements and vitamins. If you're interested in getting fit, getting healthy, making some lifestyle changes, get at me on Twitter. Get at me on beatsbodycoach.com/edub66. Facebook me. Email the show, redlightsportsramble@gmail.com.
10 seconds.
Just get at me.
We'll see y'all at the next red light, everyone. Thanks for listening. Have a great night.